So things are looking pretty nice this May in Saskatchewan in the food forest orchard here. I probably don't look that good. I'm covered in dust. Just did the first mow. So we planted grass. I had this whole thing wood chipped, built up soil, seeded grass last November. Hasn't rained at all, but the grass is coming up in with the weeds, a non-creeping grass. I'm going to turn the camera around so you don't have to look at my dirty mug right now. So this was all wood chips in the rows, everything. The wood chips break down to soil. Then the weeds like really good soil, because if you don't plant something, Mother Nature will plant it for you. And in the cattle pasture there, we didn't have it grazed enough so the weeds would fly in. So taking it to grass now, I just finished mowing. As opposed to my yard over there that I have to mow, it's not that much more time, maybe about a half an hour, and every other week I'm thinking that I'm going to have to mow this. That's much better than weeding. So what do we got in the orchard here? We got currants, red currants, black currants, gooseberry, plums, rows of hascaps. So all of my rows are about 12 foot on center. It seems to work very good for everything. So this means that I could do chicken tractors in here if I want. Most of these rows are wood chip rows. That one's plastic mulch with wood chips on it. And the wood chip supply was kind of dying up a little bit on me. So plastic mulch is, the next best thing. It holds in moisture. Over the next decade, you can wood chip it. If you got access to wood chips, pull the plastic out. So in here, we did 3 rows of Siberian crabapple that are 12 foot on center in 12 foot rows. Those are going to be rootstock. So every single one of those, my wife has to pick one of our better edible apple trees and graft whatever we want on. So these little guys holding in moisture. Very nice. Some of this is the syntropic food forest style. So in here is a pear. I think these are all pears and plums. So they're pollinating themselves. They're full of bees, everything full bloom right now. If it doesn't freeze, we should have pears this year. But syntropic style, so there's, I believe, some raspberries, and then a canopy tree, and then a whole whack of flowers to another plum or pear or something. That big pear, so in here, it'll be pear or plum, raspberry, so a cluster of raspberries. This, we had dieback on an old plum somebody gave me. I'm not even sure the kind. Raspberries, pear, currant, pear, space that we had dill in, apple, another space available, apple, wife's flowers in here. I left a nice open area that I planted, grass, that could be a nice spot for a gazebo or even my old chicken coop right in here. So I don't even have to use a chicken tractor. I could just let them free range around. But this plastic mulch is sure nice, and uniform rows for cutting grass instead of having weeds come up. Awesome. So this, in theory, should be weed free. All you have to weed is whatever pokes up through the plastic and the fruit tree themselves there. So, and in some of these rows here, it's not syntropic, it's just orchard style. So in between each apple, we can plant some smaller bush type fruit trees. I don't know, hascaps or currants or gooseberries or buffalo berries or something like that. In a few of those rows way over there, it's just solid Saskatoon berries. So little baby Saskatoon, so it'll just be a hedge. In the furthest row, there is some non-fruit trees, hybrid poplar, just because it grows fast for us, with sour cherries in between. And a lot of this is my wife's flowers for now. But as we get fruit trees and expand, like I've got 2 rows with nothing. These all are filled with apples now, and then I have room for in between, have room for big fruit trees here. I forget. Oh yeah, this is the Saskatoon berry row. So every 4 feet, I think, is a Saskatoon berry. And then some sort of perennial flower or food in between. So I guess that is kind of syntropic style. And then we get little suckers off our Evans cherry. So we just dug those up. So it's cherry poplar, cherry poplar, cherry poplar, and maybe a flower in between. So I have to mow my lawn and try not to, it's like big enough to play any games on. It's still nice to have a nice lawn for the kids to play on. But now I have to mow an extra half an hour of meditation on the lawnmower. Not a big deal. There's a nice maple tree we can get syrup. Haven't even thought about the garden yet. It's still got plastic on, trying to get it weed free here. So I don't think we have anything in between. So the only thing I have to weed now is in the rows. And each row has a valve that I buried a couple years back. It's for a drip line. The drip tape is kind of 1-year use. The moment a critter bites it, it's screwed, so I'm going to upgrade to a better drip line. But all of these rows have a drip line that I have not installed. Our water's still frozen under the ground. I didn't blow it out enough. But all I have to weed now and wood chip is in my fruit tree rows. No weeds, because I mow it, are going to be able to seed themselves, and the grass, which is a non-creeping orchard grass and other mixture of non-creeping grasses, will choke out the weeds for us. Deer got in here and my dog didn't do his job. Deer did a little pruning, and then my wife did a little pruning. These are plums, should have plums this year. Domestic Saskatoon berry, huge. This is my favorite plant for fruit, actually. And then garlic in between. Little baby apple. A couple baby Saskatoons. Sour cherry rose along the outside there. Massive patch of chives with, unfortunately, grass. The native grass over there is terrible and creeps into my stuff. So now I planted an orchard grass. I have to hand weed all that grass out of it. Apple, Egyptian onions, apple, rhubarb, choke cherries, space in between. My wife has a whole bunch of medicines and perennial flowers in here. What is that? Oh, a little apple we put in there. Choke cherries. And I just noticed, get the blowtorch, tent caterpillars. So I get them early. I just get my tiger torch for roofing. Oh, I see one over here. Look at 2 over here. Yeah, I'm going to blowtorch them right now, actually. You take a blowtorch to it and kill that whole thing once a year, this time of year, and they're done. Yeah, we were over there. There's the pears. At the end, we have 2 apricots. Haven't had fruit yet. Can grow apricots in my zone 3. These would be Ming cherry. I don't know what that is. Plum or some full-size tree. Everything's in blossom. It's very nice. So this Evans cherry gives off a lot of suckers that I can dig up and transplant and expand the orchard. This is one of my favorite fruits that we can grow, a sour cherry, but they're not so sour. The Romance series that the U of S came up with, University of Saskatchewan, I mean. Now that we have a steam juicer, we make significant use of those. So they're big, the birds don't eat them, they're easy to pick. Some voles killed some last winter. Oh, that might be kind of alive. Cool. Well, the voles, because I had wood chips and easy to dig soil, so the voles came in. Now with grass, I think that solves a little bit of that problem. I'm thinking about getting a terrier dog for hunting them. Anyways, hascaps, the birds eat the crap out of them. The cedar waxwings. When we have berries, cedar waxwings come for like 3 weeks. Clean it out. So I put a net on. They want in so bad, they kill themselves, strangle themselves getting in with the netting. Hascaps, they're all right. They're actually not my favorite berry. But yeah, they're pretty cool. Raspberry patch, and they just keep expanding. Now, unfortunately, fences, I think I mentioned in a previous video, are a pain in my butt, and then natural prairie there, so that grass creeps in. Now it's just a mess. So we're slowly taking canes out, putting them over in the syntropic forest over there where I can mow both sides of a non-creeping grass. On my to-do list is to replace my electric fence there with a permanent fence like this one, and remove this fence. So cattle are grazing the natural prairie grassland properly, so I'm not going to have weeds blowing in, hopefully. Then there's a 3-row shelter belt to shelter in the yard and orchard all along the pond there. I just put in today some spruce trees, blue spruce, I don't know if you can see them, and kind of going to remove this fence and kind of expand our yard and orchard, whatever. Apricots. Here's a screw up. I put these rows too close together. So apricots, currants and stuff. I can't get a machine in between, but I guess these get big enough that it's kind of choking itself out. So I just have that in full wood chips. But the problem is wood chips break down and the weeds come. But these bushes, oh, look at tent caterpillar. Yeah, I got to go get my blowtorch. Hopefully these get big enough soon. These hascaps and stuff that it kind of chokes out that middle part that I can't get in to clean it out. Yeah. So this should be full-size canopy tree. And then these currants not as big. So that's the idea for height-wise syntropic-style food forest, but I also do just orchard-style hedges of the fruit trees that I like. And yeah. So I would say this grass experiment after I made soil with wood chips. So what I did is the weeds are getting so bad I couldn't get enough wood chips to re-wood chip it all. Oh, I got dirt in my teeth. Typical farmer. Yeah, then the weeds are coming up. It's too much to weed, so I ended up rototilling the wood chips with manure, flattening it out, trying to pick all the sticks and rocks out, harrowing it, making it perfectly flat, and I seeded grass in November. So that's the perfect time to seed grass because it hasn't rained and we don't have our water hooked up even outside yet. And it's doing very, very well. And being that I just mowed it, I I mowed down all the weeds and thistles and anything that was in here because we don't use any sprays or nothing, and made sure nothing else goes to seed. The grass should be thick enough that it chokes everything out. So add a chore of cutting a little more grass, eliminating the chore of weeding. All you have to do is weed in our beautiful rows. Now, one of the best things, proper management with cattle, as well as shelter belt trees, over time, this should be weed-free with a lot of ongoing work, of course. But the cattle take down the grass, so nothing's going to go terribly to seed there. The shelter belts protect it as well. And then eventually you get your nice environment kind of weed-free, and cut it with the mower, the lawn, so no weeds can spread seed, big enough to spread seeds there. We did a little patch here of crab apples, a hardy crab apple tree ornamental that we have. Planted a bunch of them. Some are coming up, but that's root stock. So we can transplant those, wait a year, and then take a cutting off of one of our edible apples, whatever kind that we like, and make more apple trees with edible apples on them. So I would say this is a win. A lot of experimenting, a lot of work, figuring out what works for us. And yeah, this is what works for us. So don't be afraid to all the food forest. Well, it's not pure permaculture because you can't leave it. You still have to do something. That almost doesn't exist, pure permaculture. No, I'm part of the permaculture system, right? I built it. I have to maintain it. And then over time, when everything's established, yeah, maybe it's kind of, you don't have to do too much, but I'm still going to cut the grass for the rest of my life because it's going to be beautiful, right? Could charge admission at the front gate. So, but this should provide us a lot of food. I don't know, it's 1.5 acres or something. And getting there. Oh, getting there. A lot of work. Gotta love it, and I do love it. So thanks for watching, and we will, I don't know, catch you next time with some other crazy thing I'm doing. Okay, bye. Sorry about my face. Almost forgot. In front of the barn, the other part of the orchard is another, I don't know, 50 apple trees or something newly planted, as well as shelter belt trees. I had to do some leveling and to get the grading right, but this I planted to, again, a non-creeping grass, and then a Dutch clover, which I kind of call a chicken pasture. But I figured if you put, 50 apple trees in here, we'll graft them so they're a nice big edible apple in front of the chicken portion of the barn. That this is where the chickens kind of come out and graze and walk around like pastured chickens. So we got clover, good grasses, so the chickens even have protein. There'll be lots of bugs in here. They'll take care of the bugs. Any apples that fall off the tree, instead of them rotting at the bottom and creating diseases and things, chicken food. Okay, bye.